You ever get that feeling like you're being watched? Not just by someone, but by something. Something that knows your every move, every fear, every secret. Something that's waiting for you to slip up, just so it can crawl closer? That's what I've been living with for months. My name's Jake, and I'm not here to spin some fake ghost story for clout or views. This is real. This happened to me every heart-pounding, sleep-stealing moment of it. It all started when I clicked bid on a cursed Labubu doll on some shady auction site. I thought I was just buying a weird collectible to show off. I was wrong, dead wrong. This is the story of how I became the last buyer. And trust me, it's gonna make your skin crawl and your nights restless. So, grab a drink, turn off the lights, and listen. Because this nightmare is mine, and it could be yours if you're not careful. It was a dreary October night in 2024 in Portland, Oregon, where the rain's a constant drone and the city pulses with a gritty, restless energy. I was 23, crashing in a rundown loft apartment in the Pearl District. Think exposed brick walls, a thrift store couch sagging in the middle, and a shelf cluttered with my collection of oddities. Warped vinyl records, a busted lava lamp, quirky flea market trinkets. I've never been into ghosts or curses. I'm the guy who laughs at horror movies and scrolls past Reddit's paranormal threads with a smirk. But that night, scrolling through BidVibe, sketchy online auction site, for rare collectibles, I found something that changed me forever. The listing was for a Labubu doll. Picture a foot-tall, creepy little thing with matted gray fur, oversized glassy eyes that seemed to follow you, and a stitched grin packed with tiny, sharp teeth that looked like they could bite. The description called it a one-of-a-kind limited edition. Starting at 200, the photo was blurry, like it was snapped in a dark basement with a shaky hand. But those eyes, they felt alive, like they were staring right through my laptop screen, right into my soul. I should have closed the tab. I should have gone to bed, but something about it hooked me, like a whisper in my head saying, "You need this. Bet this'll look badass on my shelf," I said to myself, cracking open another IPA. I'm a sucker meters away from the couch. I'm a sucker for weird stuff. Vintage toys, old comics, anything with a story. The auction had 10 minutes left, and no one else was bidding. Weird, but I was a little buzzed and feeling cocky. I typed in 250 and hit bid. The laptop pinged instantly. "You've won the auction for Labubu." The seller's profile was blank, except for one cryptic line. "Last one ever made." I shrugged it off, thinking it was just marketing hype. I wish I'd paid attention. A week later, the package showed up. No delivery guy, no truck, just a soggy brown paper box on my doorstep. The label smudged with ink. Labubu, handle with care. I brought it inside, ripped it open, and there it was. The doll. It was worse than the photo matted fur that reeked of mildew and old attics. Glassy eyes that caught the light in a way that made my stomach twist. And that stitched grin, like it was laughing at a joke I wasn't in on. I set it on my shelf next to my comics, thinking it'd be a cool conversation piece. I was an idiot. That first night, I heard it. A faint scratching, like nails dragging across wood, coming from the shelf. I checked nothing, just the doll, its glassy eyes glinting in the dim light of my apartment. "Too many beers, Jake," I muttered, trying to shake the unease. But then my phone buzzed with a DM from an anonymous account. "You shouldn't have bought it. Get rid of it. Now." I figured it was a troll, but when I tried to reply, the account was gone. Deleted, like it never existed. The next night, the scratching got louder, sharper, like something was clawing its way out of the wood. I woke up at 3 a.m., heart pounding, and found the doll turned toward me, even though I swore I'd faced it the other way. My laptop started acting up, opening to the BidVibe page on its own, showing the Labubu listing. Even after I cleared my history, I started having nightmares, dark, foggy ones, where I was running through endless, rain-soaked streets, those glassy eyes chasing me, that stitched grin whispering my name in a voice that crawled under my skin. By the fourth night, I was done. I grabbed the doll and threw it in the dumpster behind my building, the rain soaking me as I slammed the lid shut. I felt lighter, like I dodged a bullet, but when I got back to my apartment, there it was, back on the shelf, dry as a bone, its grin wider, like it was pissed. I freaked out, grabbed it, and drove to a park outside town. I doused it in lighter fluid and set it on fire, watching the flames eat through the fur until it was nothing but ash. I went home, exhausted but relieved, until I opened my door and saw it sitting on my couch, untouched, its eyes locked on me, like I'd betrayed it. I tried everything to get rid of it. I mailed it to a random address in Idaho 3 days later. It was back on my shelf, pristine. I buried it in a forest outside Portland, digging deep into the muddy earth. It was on my kitchen counter by morning, not a speck of dirt on it. Each time I tried to ditch it, it came back, and it felt angrier. The scratching turned into whispers, low, guttural, not words, but feelings. You bought it. You pay. Shadows started moving in my apartment, always in the corner of my eye. My mirrors stopped showing my reflection right. Sometimes, I'd see it instead, that toothy grin staring back, closer than it should have been. I went down a rabbit hole online, desperate for answers. Reddit threads, old forums, anything about Labubu. I found scrap stories from the 80s about a shady toy company in the Pacific Northwest, tied to a cult that worshipped something called the Watcher. They made dolls as vessels for it, designed to latch onto the last buyer. The posts were vague, half deleted, but they all ended the same. The last buyer becomes a target. It watches, it waits, it takes. Most of the posters hadn't been active in years. Their final posts were chilling. It's in my room. I can't get away. It's here. By the sixth night, I hadn't slept in days. My phone kept getting texts from unknown numbers. It sees you. It's coming. I was losing it, jumping at every creak, every shadow. The whispers followed me everywhere, even in broad daylight. I'd find myself standing in my kitchen, holding the doll, not remembering how I got there. One night, I woke up with scratches on my arm, deep, jagged, like claws. They burned, and when I looked at the doll, its grin seemed to stretch wider, like it was feeding off my fear. I started digging deeper, piecing together the cult's history. The toy company, BidVibe Toy, shut down in 1989 after a fire destroyed their factory. Rumors said the fire wasn't an accident, that the cult had been experimenting with rituals to summon something ancient, something hungry. The Labubu dolls were their conduits, each one tied to a single buyer until it was destroyed or passed on. But the last doll, the one I'd bought, was different. It was the final vessel, the one meant to hold the Watcher for good, and I was its target. By the seventh night, I was at my breaking point. I found a ritual online salt, candles, a chant in a language I couldn't read. I set it up in my apartment, the doll in the center of a salt circle, my hands shaking as I lit the candles. As I chanted, the air got heavy, like I was breathing through a wet cloth. The lights flickered, then died. The doll's eyes started glowing, not reflecting light, but glowing, a sickly yellow that burned into my skull. The whispers turned into a scream, not human, not animal, just wrong. It filled my head, my chest, my bones. Something came through that night. Not a creature, not a person, but a presence. It pressed against my mind like fingers digging into my thoughts. I saw flashes, other buyers, their faces twisted in terror, their hands clawing at nothing, as that stitched grin swallowed them whole. The doll stood up, actually stood its mouth stretching into a void. And inside, I saw something endless, something hungry, something that knew my name. It spoke, not in words, but in images, my fears, my failures, my darkest thoughts laid bare. I don't know how I survived. I woke up on the floor, The salt scattered, the candles out, the doll gone. I moved out the next day. Left everything behind, my comics, my records, my life. I've been crashing on friends' couches, moving from place to place, but I still feel it. That weight. Those eyes. Sometimes, I hear scratching in the walls, even in places I've never been before. My phone lights up with notifications from unknown numbers. It sees you. I check BidVibe, and there it is, a new Labubu listing, one of a kind, starting at 200. I don't bid. I won't. But someone will. Someone always does. I've tried to warn people. I posted on Reddit, on forums, but my accounts get banned, my posts deleted. It's like the doll or whatever's inside it doesn't want the truth out there. I've seen things since then, shapes in the fog, reflections that don't match, eyes in the dark. I don't know if it's still after me, or if it's moved on to the next buyer, but I know it's out there, waiting for someone to click bid. So, listen to me. If you're up late, scrolling through some shady auction site, and you see a deal that feels too good to be true, don't click. Don't bid, because some things aren't just bought, they're claimed. And the last buyer always pays.